Welcome back to the channel, guys, your home of hopium-free crypto and economic market cycle updates. Today's video, we're going to look at Bitcoin and then also update where everyone is wrong, basically where the media and YouTube and social medias are basically getting it wrong when it comes to Ethereum in particular, and this will probably go across into cryptocurrencies as well. So we're going to focus on Ethereum because that merge is coming up. We're going to look at some simple time counts and the tool that you can use. If you're unfamiliar with it, we'll look at that as well. That will actually save you a ton of money and potentially also make you a ton of money. So I'll look at that in today's video. All right, so if you are on the toilet, as most of you were, I saw a lot of the comments, so thank you very much. As you watch these videos, let me know in the comment section down below. Make sure you smash likes after you've wiped yourself and subscribe button. The second most popular point was that you were eating or drinking. So I'm interested in what you're eating all the time. I'm a big foodie. If you're eating while you're watching this, smash the like button and let me know in the comments what you are eating while watching this particular video. A couple more quick shout outs. Our free newsletter, a ton of really good information about cryptocurrencies and real estate. Of course, there's Bitcoin in there, so crypto, Bitcoin, real estate. That is what we do on a full-time basis. Michael and myself at the Investor Accelerator, and our members are absolutely loving it. This is a free way to get in, just to get a feel for what else we do on top of our daily, almost daily YouTube videos. Let's have a look at Bitcoin. I've got some other things coming up as well. Reversal signals here, 50% level, straightforward to 24,975. Basically $25,000 from that last peak. We were looking in that mid 20,000s, mid 24,000s, 24.6. You can see we basically came to that point right on the money, $10. So basically hit that to a T and reversed. The other couple of small reversal signals we saw here, and they also came up on Ethereum in the shorter term time frame, say on the 4 hour here. You can see some of these little dojis happening. Well, basically the dragonflies, spinning tops, they have multiple names depending on where they are on the charts. Essentially, it's just looking at the pattern. Doesn't matter if you don't get the name right, you just want to know what it looks like on a chart. And essentially, it looks like that. Spinning top, you got a tiny body, a huge wick to the upside. This is for the long trades for a bearish signal to go down. And you see that multiple times, even one of them at the end of a move. It's not as strong if it's within a move. It's much, much stronger if it's at the end of a move. And that is something that a lot of people tend to miss. You can see there's another one back here. That was at the end of a move up, a smaller move, but it basically called the end of this entire move from the low at $1,000, and this one was the top and peaked out at 1664. So that on it's a smaller range candle, but it is again the same signal as this one right here, and you can see it's turned the market after a big move to the upside. So that's what we're looking for in terms of that pattern. And on the daily chart here for Bitcoin, you can see a similar sort of thing happened 2 days in a row, and then the market fell from that point. We were looking for the market to hold at 23,400, but it has since closed underneath. You can see just on these short-term time frames that it has come back under and tested that underside of 23.4 and then continued down. So that's the importance of support and resistance levels. If the market can't find support on them, it generally breaks through. That's why they're support and resistance. But then when it finds resistance at that level from the underside, then you can basically take a reasonably safe, there's nothing that's 100% safe, but it's a much safer trade once it tests and then gets rejected. And you can see the test and then the rejection, so to that downside. Yes, this is a shorter term stuff that we're looking at for Bitcoin, just to update, because there's been so much bullishness with Ethereum. The merge is coming up. This is going to make Ethereum deflationary, and it's so great for Ethereum, yada, yada, yada. You probably see how unemotional I am about any of these sort of big news headlines, because, I mean, look, after 16 years, you see it so much time and time and time again. Everyone getting really excited about some sort of fundamental change in the asset that they're trading, and lo and behold, the market moves up for a bit. Maybe it comes up a little bit further for Ethereum's sake to 2,000 or whatever. It's not a big percentage, and we're after big percentages here in crypto because we're taking a big risk. We saw it in March. If you don't remember, if you weren't here in March, well, good luck. Good on you, not good luck, but good on you, because you missed the really big fall, and now you're at much lower prices to be buying. Unless you're in and you're shorting, another story. But we saw the same thing in March and into that peak of April. The merge is coming up, yada, yada, yada. Ethereum started to move up. It got to $3,500, which looks absolutely fantastic now when you look back. I'm going to take this off because it's crowding the chart at the moment. Here, 3,500. This was the Ethereum merge that hyped up the market, and now we're seeing it again. This time round, the movement's been reasonably good as well. But I don't want to get hyped up on these moves, and that's what we're looking for here. We're seeing the reversal signals at the short term. What I'm seeing in terms of the market sentiment is people are talking far more about it because new retail investors are asking more about it. And unfortunately, I say this every time, unfortunately, they always ask about things far too late. Far too late. And that's how I'm taking my signal, essentially, is what I'm sharing with you guys. You see a lot of people talking about it. To me, that's probably a sign that we're getting close to the top, if it's not already the top. So in Ethereum, there's the peak, and we started to reverse for the short term. So that's the short term for Bitcoin. We got rejected at 24.6. My next support level I'm looking for is 21.7. So that 21.7 level is potentially coming into play yet again. If we go from the low to the current price, then that is giving us a 50% at 21,100. So again, quite close to each of these levels. So I'm keeping an eye on both of them in around that 21K. So before I get onto Ethereum, quick shout out to anyone that is in Athens. Make sure you're following me on Twitter and Instagram because I'll post about it over there. Just 30 seconds here, guys. If you are in Athens at the moment, it's where I am, then I'd love to meet up with you if we can get enough interest. So go and follow on Twitter and Instagram if you're not in the country, just so that you're not getting scammed out there by the dozens and dozens of other Twitter and Instagram accounts. They are not me. Don't get scammed. I only have 2 official ones, one Instagram, one Twitter, and they are in the video description. So join that, and we get enough interest, we'll find a place to have a bit of a talk and a discussion rather than just meet up and coffee and drinks. I want to make this worthwhile. I want to have some value in this, and hopefully we can grow from this as well. Learn within the bear market. Onto Ethereum. So this is the piece that I want to look at where I think everyone is wrong. Basically, I've looked in terms of the market sentiment at the beginning of the video, so I don't want to cover that again. Just the headline to that is, when the market sentiment is so high for it, it's usually the peak or getting close to the peak. If you're in the bull market, then we might have a little bit further to go. So there was a lot of talk of this peak here, but if you had stepped away and sold at that 4K mark, you really have to look at yourself and say, was this run even worth it? If in terms of buying at 2,000 and selling at 4 or 4.5, that's worth it. But if you sold at 4, just walked away from the market, you weren't going to make that much more out of the market. So in a bull market, there's a lot of talk. It can move again, but in a bear market, it's much harder for it to move again. So there's not as much momentum. So basically, the market sentiment is quite high for this merge. It's coming up. We have a date for it, so maybe everyone has front run that date already. I'm looking at the date, it's 2nd of August. That could still be about 6 weeks away, being the 19th of September that we have the merge. Maybe everyone has front run that already. Maybe we have a pullback to our 50% levels. So we go from the low. This may be the current top. And 50% comes in around 1,300, which is also the previous bottom before we peaked. If we get that, and then we find a base and start to move higher, break 17, then we should go on another reasonable move, and that could lead us closer to the date of the merge. That's another scenario. But think about where we currently have peaked at around $1,800. Say that peaks at 2,100, maybe even these lows at 25. At 21, it's not that much higher than the current peak. And if it gets to 25, sure, it's another 50% from that current high. So there is a possibility in it, but nothing like going from 900 to 1,800 is 100% there. That's a pretty good run. So that's what I'm talking about when I'm looking at these 2 runs. You had a really, really big move first, and then the second move still sounds pretty good in terms of numbers, going from 2,000 to 4,800. But in terms of a percentage for the gains that we actually want, it's not always there. So I'm just staying patient on that because I think the market sentiment may have run a little bit hard too soon. That's why we're getting the pullback. In terms of the price, we're definitely seeing the rejection points. And now onto the big one, the time. And this is something that I shared with the members on Monday, our Patreon members. Link to that is in the video description, and of course our premium members as well. If you just wanted to start out something free, check out the subscription here. This is a free newsletter. It's coming out in about 24 hours time. So drop your name and email down there, absolutely free. The big one here is the weekly chart and how long these markets tend to run up before they have a reversal. So this is the TIA, the Investor Accelerator Gann Swing Indicator. We are just going to use this setting and drop it onto a bar count. Now you can do these counts yourself without the tool, but this one just saves you a ton of time And if you're not making $9, which is what the cost of this per month, you're not making $9 from this tool, you're doing something wrong. But you could easily make $9 and you can easily save yourself at least $9. That's the way I look at tools when it comes to my own investing. Are they going to make me money? Are they going to save me money? And then are they going to make me money? If that's the case and I get a multiple return on this tool, I'm going to use it because it's going to make me money in the long run. So this I'm looking at in terms of time counts to the upside. So how many weeks can we expect ETH to move up before we see a reversal? So remember what we're putting together here. We've got price, we've got time, we've got market sentiment, which essentially comes into market volatility as well. So the market sentiment, quite high. Why is it high? Possibly because it's at a peak. Now we go back a step and say, how can we tell if it's at a peak? Is it coming up to price resistance? Yes, check. $1,700, $1,800. That's a price resistance level. We've shown that. This is yellow line here. Point number 2, target reach. Is it coming up to a time pressure point? That's what we're going to check right now. This is why I think everyone is wrong. The old, YouTube titles, it's for a bit of fun. We're in a bear market. We've got to do something to pass the time. Is that coming up to a top time-wise? Let's have a look back in history, looking at bear markets for Ethereum. There's a ton of numbers on the screen here, but essentially what I'm looking for at a quick time count is how many weeks up before we see a reversal. Because if this can't save you $9, I'm basically trying to save you the cost of this tool. Sure, don't buy it. It's fine. I know a lot of people are getting triggered down there. So before you spit your coffee out or don't wipe yourself properly before you get off the toilet, take a break. You don't have to buy it. But essentially, this is why I look at tools that I bring into my own business. To the downside, people are getting really excited here for Ethereum. Yeah, it's going to go up. I'm seeing people saying I'm buying ETH now. I think some of the biggest crypto channels out there, which are respectable, even talked about buying ETH at these high levels. The price has since dropped from that point 12%. So if that hasn't saved you at least 12%, from using the tool, I don't know what will. So anyway, enough about me talking about this tool. I'm starting to look like a tool. Look to the downside here. We got 3 weeks up. What has it done in the past? 3 weeks up, 3 weeks up, 1 week up before it reverses. So basically, we're just trying to maybe buy a little bit of a lower price. We don't have to buy the bottom, but just try not to buy the top. That's all I want to do. Just try not to buy the tops. 1 week up, reversed. 2 weeks up, reversed. 3 weeks up, didn't really move, reversed. 1 week up, reversed. Are you getting the picture here? We're sort of getting towards that peak. We've covered it in terms of price. We've covered it in terms of market sentiment. We've covered it now in terms of time. These are all the pieces of my plan. I'd always talk about, let's put a plan together, have a plan, stick to a plan, and action that plan, all right? Because otherwise the FOMO kicks in and you basically keep losing money at tops. I did this throughout 2017, just kept losing money at the tops, and it's like, is it actually going to come back down? Well, it may not. I can't be 100% right all the time. I sure as hell see it in the comment section, but I just don't want to buy the peaks as often. I don't want to buy them that often, okay? So in the bull market, 7 weeks up, 8 weeks up, 8 weeks up, 7 weeks up. You can see these moves here, 6 weeks, 7 weeks. We're not in a bull market. Sure, this could flip now and we do a 6 or a 7 week, but it's we're still in a bear market, so I have to look at the bear market statistics. If we are bouncing out of a black swan event low, look at that, 7 weeks up here, and then the market kept going higher and higher. So there was no pullback there. But I don't see us dropping. I don't think we've dropped into a black swan event. I don't think anyone else there thought we have dropped into a black swan event in June. So that's the other side to this. 8 weeks up in this little bear market, but again, the market basically dumped. So that's looking at the 2019. Let's have a look back. There's 0 here because it was the same week, just sort of moved up and down. 2 weeks up, 3 weeks up, 3 weeks up, 1 week up. This is in the bear market from that 2019 peak. Let's keep going backwards. This is the bear market here from 2018. 1 week up, 5 weeks up, but then the market reversed. 1, 1, 1, 1, 4. Market didn't really move in terms of a percentage. So I could keep going back and back and back, but I think you sort of get the point that if we're in a bear market, ETH tends to move 1 to 3 or 4 weeks, sometimes 5, but eventually retraces. This is the 5 week here. There's a nice 5 week move. But eventually, if you're patient enough, after about 3 or 4 weeks, it retraced all the way and came back under that price. So I could buy ETH at a cheaper price than I had bought at that peak. I just had to wait and then not FOMO in at the next peak. All right, so the patience game is really, really difficult. It's the most difficult thing in investing, especially if you're looking at a little bit more macro than the hourly charts. This is what we're looking for here. So I think I have covered time fairly well. I think you're probably getting the point that 3 weeks up could potentially call a bit of a reversal. Yes, in hindsight, maybe we should have done the video a day and a half ago, but we are now seeing that the market is reversing. It may be true again that we only see 3 weeks up. Therefore, maybe we just wait it out. Look, I've already said that it could be wrong and the market could go to 22 or 25K, but in history, we've seen it come all the way back down over time. And how long would I have to wait? Well, from that top to the bottom has shown up at about 24 weeks, about 6 months. If I'm trading it, different story. But if I'm long-term holding ETH, which a lot of people talk about, I'm just going to buy and hold and wait, then I think I can sharpen up the tool a little bit by using time analysis, using price analysis, and using market sentiment analysis. So as for ETH, I think a lot of people get it wrong because, the time, all these things have shown it. Even if it goes up a little bit more, I think eventually we'll probably revisit those prices. Meaning, if it does go up to $23 or $2,500, I think eventually we may revisit some of these current prices of around $1,300 to $1,800. So I'm not having to FOMO in. I hope that this has saved you time and money, whether you're trading ETH, cryptos, or Bitcoin, just not getting caught out at those levels. So if you want to know more, if you did find value, do those things down below, the likes, subscribes. Appreciate your support. Let me know what you're eating or drinking while watching this long 15-minute or so video. And of course, Athens, Instagram, Twitter, Bybit, down below, $4,450 of sign-up bonuses. I'll see you guys at the next video. Have a fantastic day. Until then, peace out.